Hi and welcome here on Sini.com, the wine show. And I'm, let's say, really happy today. I'm here today. I'm in Pauillac. I am in Bordeaux, and to be more precise, I am here on Château Pontet-Canet, and which is the fifth grow. Belongs one of the famous wineries, or let's say chateaux here in Bordeaux from the Médoc. And my guest today is Jean-Michel Comme. Nice to have you on my show. You're feeling fine?
Yes, thank you for coming and see us.
Well, Michel, before we start to talk a little bit about the chateau, where you started, you are the technical director?
Yes, I came here first in 1989.
Okay.
And I was first young and young engineer and enologist, and I started as a vineyard manager first. And then 10 years later, I took over the vinification process and the aging, and so the whole process from the vine and to the bottling.
Well, which is quite amazing is that, the topic that you are, you produce your wines, or you're following the biodynamic principles,
yes.
Which is quite unusual for this region here. What I want to know is how did it develop for you or for Château Pontet-Canet? When did you decide to say, okay, we have to change?
You know, it's a long process because as a young engineer, I was really, how to say, I was in a spirit of mind that was to use pesticide and to trust only in technology, big machineries and so on. And some years later, and about 15 years ago, I had concerns about the ideas I learned at school. I began to imagine that there were flaws, problems in those ideas, and I started to try to see something else. It was very difficult because the idea is still very difficult because I'm not the owner.
Yeah.
The estate is great and big.
From by family Tesseron?
Yes.
Okay, right.
And we are very close with my boss Alfred Tesseron, but the estate is big. But I let life take me in the direction it has chosen for me. At the first time, it was not biodynamic. It was just the idea that the food, it is the same for people. Food is a good way to stay in good health, and good nutrition for the vines provide a better health and less disease. It was the first idea, and it seems to be so logical and so easy, and that I say to myself, it's the truth is in this direction.
Okay, but the climate here is actually in Bordeaux. It's not like, let's say, it's not south of. We are not here in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, where the weather is.
Yes, but each country, each growing area has its own problems and its own positive and negative points.
Okay.
And first, I discovered I went to biodynamic, but by trying to understand and not to find it as a religion or to say yes, it's the good wave and good for marketing to say we are biodynamic.
You just not focus on the quality of the wines, right?
Yes, and so. The climate is special, but usually I don't think it's the main fact that stop people, or I think that the real people have to accept difficulties.
Yeah.
So here the climate is the climate. We have to cope with the climate. And not to say, yes, there's always a better area, but we are growing here. The terroirs are the best, and we could enhance, we expect to enhance the terroir with the biodynamic approach, and we have to cope with the weather. And it has not to compare, what we do, it has not to be compared to somewhere else.
Yeah.
And the price of the bottle, the reputation of the growth, the size of the growth, and all the details I have to be taken into account to take the decision. So Châteauneuf-du-Pape is Châteauneuf-du-Pape. they have their own problems with the hot climates. They have to cope with the hot climates.
Yeah.
Here we have sometimes to cope with the rain or the wet conditions, but it's our task.
Yeah. I read about it that in 2007, which was quite rainy vintage, that you had to, you were close before a certification to receive the
Yes.
certificate. And you had to step back, right? And then you are now you re-achieved the
Yes.
the
2 years
certification
ago.
2 years ago.
Yes.
Was it, let's say, one step back and 3 steps forward for you?
07 will always stay the cross we will carry until the end,
Yeah.
until I die. I will carry the cross of 07 probably because, we were, when we are the only one, we are still the only one.
Yeah, you have to learn, right?
Yes,
It's a learning process.
and I think that sometimes or often with the biodynamic approach, people are sort of amateurs.
Yeah.
And it was our spirit of mind. We were not ready to face huge conditions of disease with downy mildew in 07. I don't want to say that we are professional and difficulties are over. It's always a restart.
Yes.
But now our approach is more professional. We know that it's always difficult, so we have to be always in, and do not count on luck or God.
Yeah.
We have to check all the details and to improve everything. So when in 07, Mr. Tesson, my boss, went to biodynamic with his own sensibility, his own, experience and so on. So he accepted the challenge, and I proposed and accepted to carry the project. But it worked 04, 05, 06 with no problem.
Okay.
And in 07 it was more difficult and we were not ready. And
You will be in the future, right? You have, you have now, you're more experienced with how to deal with hard circumstances.
yes, but when Mr. Tesson asked me or ordered, I don't know how to say, to spray back pesticides, it was a very difficult time.
Yeah.
It was only 2 weeks, and 2 weeks later, we went back to biodynamic and organic spraying and restarted a new conversion. Now, when he's talking about this hard period, bad period, he says it was a wrong decision because pesticide had changed nothing. But, I was the first guilty because I was not able to carry out my task. And I felt, and I still feel guilty about this period and humiliated because everywhere around people were waiting for us to have problem.
Yeah.
And when the problem came, it was funny. But we restarted with the real will to succeed. We are never sure to succeed, but we do everything to do it. And in 6 or 7 or 8 years of biodynamic, we had 2 weeks, period without back to pesticide.
Okay, there's a song I think for the loser now who will be later to win, actually. So I think that you will have a great future, actually. Okay, we are not now going to taste the vintage 11, and I'm quite excited. Okay, so just before we go into taste now 011, some facts about Château Pontet-Canet, because actually it was, for me, when I read about it, it was quite interesting that actually the estate goes back to, I think, 300 years or more, and that the property of the vineyards of Mouton Rothschild belonged in the past to Pontet-Canet. No? Is it wrong?
Yes, it is wrong.
Okay, then forget it.
Yes, and Pontet-Canet had only 3 families, owners in 3 centuries.
Yeah.
First, the family that created.
Ségur?
No, Pontet.
Okay.
Pontet
Pontet.
is the name of the first owner,
Okay.
and Canet is the place.
It was small EOD, something which is small parcel.
Yes, it's a place here that was
Okay.
called Canet. And Mouton
Yeah.
is the place.
Yeah.
Lafitte is the place.
Okay.
Bage is the place. Rothschild is the owner. Lynch is the family owner.
Okay.
So it's usually composed with one family and a place where it is with the estate stays.
Hope you get it. Quite interesting. Yeah.
And Pontet-Canet so had three owners: Pontet, more than 150 years, and then the Cruz, the negotiant in Bordeaux, and they stayed 110 years in Pontet-Canet.
Yeah.
They were also the owners of Rosan Segla, Giscourt, Aubage Libéral, and Château d'Isson, that still belongs to a branch of the Cruz family.
Okay.
And now it belongs to the Tesson family.
Okay.
They are coming from Cognac.
Okay. And let's talk about 011.
Yes.
Can you say something about this vintage, especially after 09 and 010?
I think that in 11 there were two major facts. First, the very dry and sunny, hot spring. The flowering conditions arrived in very sunny and good conditions, probably too good, because at the end of flowering, especially for the Cabernet Sauvignon, the berries were very small.
Yeah.
And for a potential of crop yield that was small. And the second one, the second fact was the rainy period. We had not very huge rain, but no rain is well located in September because we are very close from ripeness. So, and then it changed the tide of the vintage because some decided to harvest early because maybe they were afraid of rot, and some we are among those this second group decided to keep the line and harvest only with ripeness instead of trying to harvest something unripe but clean from rot. We made what was necessary. When a grape goes unripe in a vat, you remember it 30 years because it is in the wine.
Yeah.
When you sort a rotted grape from the sorting table, you forget it.
Yeah.
You only remember what goes in the vat. So we did the right work to sort, and at the end it was totally clean.
But this is actually from the barrel, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The wine is already sold.
Yeah.
Has been sold out 1 week ago.
Congratulations.
Yes, with the imprimeur system. And so it will be bottled in more than 1 year.
Yeah.
In July, probably in July 2013.
Yeah.
And so what is important in the production in Pontet-Canet with the biodynamic connection or relationship we have with the vines, we try to have only the light influence on the vines between the growth and the wine, the final wine. We try to imagine for each work, each action we make, if it is necessary or not.
Yeah.
We are there to help the vines, but not to decide. And so, step by step, we suppressed all the actions that were not necessary. Among them, you have de-leafing and green harvest. Green harvest means the to suppress the extra crop in July, to give better health for better concentration for the grapes left.
We're going away from this, right?
Yes, we did it 20 years ago, but step by step we went to another idea. Is that the yield has to be natural. So it's not to do nothing, it's just to try to work differently on the vine, to help them to produce what we feel is the right yield for us, and naturally. And then during the vinification process, we also suppress all kind of actions that were not necessary, just to be as pure as possible.
Actually, this stage moment a little bit close, right? Well, we are in the development now.
Yes, but you know, the depend on the moment in the day, and the weather is. I think that.
Wow. Super is like, well, it's like a medium body, but it's super intense. You have a lot of dark fruit, of cassis, also some red berries at this stage. The tannins are quite like impressive. I mean, we are here in Pauillac, and there is something which is really giving kicks. Like it's the finish is super long. It's like it's like something quite. Not quite, it's spectacular. It's full of life, and of course, at this moment, the nose, like I said before, somehow close, but you get it on the palate that it's something really special here.
Yes, but you know, we don't want to have an infusion of wood. We want the more and more to preserve the fruit. And some days it's probably better than the others, but I think that the biodynamic gave us, in the recent years, this mineral touch we had never before.
You have it here. This is quite amazing.
Yes, and the freshness.
Absolutely.
The freshness is coming with freshness is a good acidity. There's a wrong acidity, but freshness comes from a good acidity that keeps the wine long in the mouth, and it's refreshing. And this freshness comes partly from the biodynamic approach and partly from the growing we have that is on the natural balance. There's no other way than to be natural in the balance, for the good balance. We have a very, very light extraction.
But it's something really special for me, actually. I mean, the minerality is quite convincing. And I think there are also a result of the good work in the vineyards. Okay, the oak is like, it's not too much oak, actually. I mean, it's like you said before, you're using French oak, of course.
Yes.
But but not 100% new, right?
No, before we were at 60%. And now we are at 50%. And you know, year after year, we suppressed in the vinification also all kind of pigeage, délestage, is to empty the vat. And more recently, we also suppressed malolactic in barrels. We went back to malolactic in vats to be in the purity of the fruit. And so we want more and more to keep only the essential, the soul of the place, and not something...
I think that you achieved it. It's like, for me, spectacular experience today for me. And well, we will see when the wine will be bottled in 2013. And well, I thank you, Jean-Michel. Great that you had time for me, for my friends. And well, this was the interview with Jean-Michel Comme. I'm here on Château Pontet-Canet, and I really hope that I see you in the next clip.